Ju- Just so you know, the clock is 10 minutes slow. Yeah, we gotta fix that. So you gotta listen. Marcia knows what's going on. She got it going on.
Thanks. Please be seated now. Our service will begin shortly. Good morning, everyone. Here in the sanctuary and those watching virtually, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the South Jersey Shore. We ask that you please place your cell phones in worship mode. Thank you for joining us. We who bring teaching of hope, we welcome all in our doors, the joyful, the heartbroken, atheists, Christians, Muslims, and Jews, straight and gay, lesbian, bisexual, queer, transgender, all who are searching, seeking, looking for more meaning, more service, and more love. All of us gathered here together. My name is Marcia Hanna, and I'm your worship associate this morning. I'm a charter member of this congregation, and I currently serve as chair of the nominations committee. Our worship service today is led by Teresa McReynolds. Reverend Dr. Teresa McReynolds, DC, has spent the last 50 years of her life in the healing profession as a chiropractor, energy healer, wellness coach, crystal healer, spiritual counselor, ritual facilitator, and motivational speaker. Busy, Teresa. She has dedicated her life to uplifting others. After many years of study, she was ordained a New Thought Christian minister in California at the Home of Truth Spiritual Center. She then went on to study with several teachers in the goddess tradition and was ordained as a high priestess. Teresa has spent most of her life as an advocate. She was one of the founding members of the Atlantic County Women's Center, now known as Evansar, and the Rape Crisis Center. She's a mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, gardener, farmer, and lover of this Mother Earth, and a forever student of its mysteries. Video of today's service will be available on YouTube, on the YouTube channel later today. To those gathered live on Facebook, we welcome your comments as well as your joys and sorrows to the platform. Please remember that the video will be on the internet, so do not share information to best kept private. Welcome to worship.
When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morn in spring. In a lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish eyes are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away. For all the Irish out there.
Welcome into this place of healing. Welcome into this place of challenge and growth. Welcome into this place of imperfection and aspiration. Here you are whole. Here you are holy. And here you are wholly loved. Our chalice lighter today is Richard Schierig. Where is Richard? Still in the back. Here he comes.
Yay, Richard, we love you.
Please join me in reading the chalice lighting words that are in your order of service. Around us, light is returning. It rekindles the spirit of life in the skeleton of the trees. It brings forth new shoots from the soil. It wakens us from the winter slumber and invites us to see what lies beyond. Please rise now in body or spirit and sing our gathering hymn. It's number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. The words are printed in your order of service.
And notice that the choir worked on a different lyric for the second time around. We'll be singing Open Your Arms, Here Comes Spring. All right? Because we're groovy like that.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm not too loud with my uke.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your arms, here comes spring. Open your arms, here comes spring. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Open, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
So glad you're here.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Rejoice and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning. I'm Karen York, and I'm your stewardship chair, and this is our season of stewardship. Each year in the spring, we make some goals to get advance commitments of financial commitments from members of the congregation and other donors to help us to plan our budgeting year for next year, so to look ahead and help us to budget. This year, we set a goal of $135,000, and currently we've raised $94,000 in financial commitments from 22 of our families, 70% of our goal. So we're making great progress, but each and every pledge is important for us to reach our goal. If you have not yet pledged, there's a table in the foyer with some pledge cards you can fill out. If you have a pledge card that you filled out and would like, you can give it back to me or put it in the offertory basket, and it will get to me. And there's also some information about why we set the goal we did and what our plans are for the year ahead. That's on the table out in the foyer as well. Each week, I also ask one of our donors to come forward and tell us why the congregation is significant in their life. And today's testimony will be David Wiesner.
So good morning. Yeah. So I was a non-practicing Christian with an evangelical background when I decided I wanted to find a spiritual community without the dogma, you know. And a friend told me about the Unitarian Universalists. I always trip on that. Yeah. Okay. And I found the UUC SJS website. What impressed me about the website was, sure, there was a way to donate button, but it wasn't the focus of it all. Once I went to a church one time, and one day the bulletin had 7 different fundraising projects in 1 week. From a kids' pennies collection to Tithing Plus. Yes, Tithing Plus. All right. They were out for donations. I had no mention of anything they were doing for anything outside of themselves. But my first look at UUC SJS, I saw an announcement for a roadside cleanup. And support for Eastern Service Workers, the Food Bank, Animal Shelter, Coalition Against Rape and Abuse. So many things to help the community and welcome everyone without prejudice or bigotry. So I started attending. We survived the COVID hiatus. Some people have come and gone, but I have really grown and learned so much in my time here. I've made friends, both given and received emotional support, participated in community projects, and learned so much. I've had pizza and beer with the guys, I've stargazed, I picked up trash, learned to run a soundboard. So UUC SJS offers so much to learn about history, philosophy, humanity, and ourselves. UUC SJS offers a place to gather and plan and laugh and support each other, a place to worship and be welcome. I'm so grateful I found out about being at UU, and I'm glad you're all here to make it such a remarkable community. So thank you.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Karen. And now we will light the religious education lantern. We light this lantern for our children and youth, and for us, celebrating the flame of faith lighted in each of us, honoring the light each of us brings into the world, rejoicing in the community that we create together. The children will now collect donations for the local food pantries, animal shelter, and the Coalition Against Rape and Abuse.
We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go.
A book is provided in the foyer in which you are encouraged to write whatever joys and sorrows you have. I will now read what you have shared. Thank you, Betsy and John Seawright, for hosting a wonderful circle dinner at your home last night. A good time was had by all, Nancy and Mike. And also thank you, Betsy and John Seawright, for hosting and all who participated to make our first circle dinner since the COVID, a raving success, Sue and Julie. Thanks to Maxine for hosting a circle dinner last night and to all who attended. It was a wonderful evening, Paul and Karen. Thank you, Marie and Jeff Taylor, for hosting a circle dinner last night. A great time was had by all, and we received some great travel advice, Tony and Marty. My brother Bobby left rehab and is back in jail until August. I'm just praying for strength to be patient and accept the things I cannot change. Also for strength and willingness for Bobby. Thank you, Amber Morris. Thank you. Let us be in the spirit of prayer. Blessed and holy creation, universe of wonder, mystery beyond definition. We share today our joys and sorrows, listening deeply to the things that cause us to weep or worry, and lifting our hearts as one at those things we would celebrate together. Our hearts are touched by this shared ritual, and we are connected. Let us share in a quiet time to reflect on our week. During the musical interlude, you may come forward and place a pebble in the water to acknowledge a personal joy or sorrow. We hold in our hearts this morning Colby Tippins and Denise O'Meara, both who are home recovering from illness or injury. And also David Wiesner and Yvette Guillermo, who both lost parents recently. Our hearts go out to you. We pray for the people of Ukraine and people everywhere who are suffering due to conflict or natural disaster. We pray for those who are apart from us, whether by distance, time, or conflict unresolved. We pray for those who thirst, whether for water, dignity, or justice. We pray for those who are in danger and who yearn for safety. We pray for our small, blue, fragile planet. Amen.
We're working on getting this faster, but we're a work in progress. John's going to play the melody first, and then we're going to all sing.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. We rest in this love.
The offering is a sacrament of the free church. It is supported by voluntary generosity of all who join with us. More than 80% of our annual budget is supported by direct pledges and donations collected through our in-service offering. We hope that you will be as generous as you are able and support the ministry of this congregation. If this is your first time visiting us, please let the basket pass you by, as your presence is gift enough. You can also text a donation to 609-293-4495. Or, for those of you participating online, please visit uucsjs.org and click on the yellow donate button for ways to donate. The gifts of the congregation will most gratefully be received. The ushers will now collect the offering. Thank you.
At the end of this reading, we will enter into a time of silent reflection, concluded by the ringing of the bell. This is the time of the spring's return, the joyful time, the seed time, when life bursts forth from the earth and the chains of winter are broken. Light and dark are equal. It is a time of balance when all the elements within us must be brought into a new harmony. The prince of the sun stretches out his hand, and Kore, the dark maiden, returns from the land of the dead, cloaked in the fresh rain, with the sweet scent of desire on her breath. Where they step, the wildflowers appear as they dance. Despair turns to hope, sorrow to joy, want to abundance. May our hearts open with the spring. Blessed be. Oh, that didn't ring. There we go. Hi. Woo! Springtime. Yay. It's so exciting. I can feel it in the air. I spent all day yesterday in my yard, like 5 hours, just burning wood and cleaning up and getting the soil ready and getting the seeds ready and getting my little packets going. It was so exciting. I don't know if you know this or not, but Hamilton has a seed library. Do you know that? It was so cool to find that out. Meredith told me about that. And I went out there and ordered seeds, and you get your seed packets, and then you just have to promise to return some seeds from your plants at the end. Isn't that cool? And I don't know if you know this, but Damon Smith, one of our members, has Gloves on the Ground, and he has seeds from all over the world. So he came over the other day and was giving me seeds from Iran and Iraq and Japan and all these different things that I'd never heard of before to plant in my garden. It was so exciting. I always feel when I do these talks that I should have one of those wheels behind me, because I come up here at the high holidays and it's like turning of the wheel. It's the turning of the wheel. The equinox. Equinox is perfect balance. Perfect balance. It's when the sun comes down and hits the equator, right on the line of the equator, so the north and the south are equal. There's equal light and day. In the solstices, one is more than the other. But on this time of year, we're in this perfect balance where there's no inner or outer, no male, female, no right, no wrong, no anything other than just being in the is. I always tell my practice members, live in the is, be in the is. The right moment of right where you are, right now, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're experiencing, this is that moment of perfect perfection and balance. Equal light, equal dark. Everything is equal. It's so cool. Equinox, the spring equinox is the goddess of Ostara, and she's a German goddess, and her talismans are the egg and the rabbit. See my little rabbit over here? And of course, you know why she would choose the rabbit, right? Fertility. Rabbits are supposed to be so prolific, so they represent fertility, and that's what's happening in the earth right now. And the egg. She chose the egg because within the egg is possibility and potential. Within the egg is this little thing that's birthing itself and growing and changing inside, and it represents so many wonderful possibilities that can happen. And the Christians kind of took it over and made it Easter from Ostara, and they made the Easter egg and the Easter bunny, but that's okay. We know where it came from. I know. We are all descendants of tribal people. Every one of us has, from our ancient ancestors going all the way back, we all came from tribal people. Tribal people who were spiritually alive, intimately in love with the natural world, children of the Mother Earth. It's in our generic memory. It's inside of us. We carry it in us. We feel it. It's in here. We can't not have it. We might put it in some dusty bin in the attic, but when we have these times of high holidays, when we have this amazing force, bigger than us, that's happening, we feel it. Who isn't excited by the sun lasting longer now? Who amongst us doesn't feel the energy right now of the spring on its way? Imagine feeling and living in a place where we feel so connected to this earth. Around us is air. It's all around us. We don't even think about it unless it smells bad. You know? Or if we have something like asthma or emphysema where we can't sometimes get that breath, that's when we notice the power and the wonderfulness of the air. The air. We are the air. The trees bring it out. We breathe it out. And, you know, we're so moving back and forth. The air. In my tradition, the east is the air because the east is the beginning and the newness and the sun coming. And so take a deep breath. Consciously feel the air coming in our body, filling us up, moving us. Without it, we would not be here. We would not be here without the air. And then we have the sun, the heat of the sun, the noon sun. Can you feel that sun? Warmth coming through us. The sun is so important. It grows our food. It grows us. Without the sun, where would we be? You know, there's a few people in my life right now who suffer from depression. And when they had blood work done, they realized that they were missing vitamin D in their body. No vitamin D, because they're not out in the sun. So many of our youth right now are suffering depression because they're not out in the sun. They're not getting that vitamin D, and so instead they're taking medication. And here it is, all, you know, the sun feeds us with so many wonderful things and keeps us healthy and alive. And it's coming back more, Nickel. And then we have the water, the earth. We move to the west with the water. Do you know that we're 60% water? Do you know that there's water, like 12 and a half gallons of water in our cells and around all our cells and in the spaces and traveling through our blood? We are 60% water. We have like 15 gallons of water in our body. Can you imagine that? And we have the rivers and the lakes and the oceans. And you know, our water is so important to us, to our life. Imagine living our life intimately connected to this earth, the interconnectedness of all. We are the earth. And then we go to the north, which is the earth itself, the dirt, the soil that we dig in, that has all these antibiotics in it and all these probiotics in it, and gives us peace. And when we're working with it, it can create such peace inside of us. Oh gosh, I just love it, you know? I just love that we are so connected. And our ancestors knew this. We come from tribal people who knew this. It's in us, in our beings, in us. You know, there's some, in my faith, there's no other. We're all one. There's like one person walking on this earth, just one. And we're all mirrors for one another. You know, there's some faiths that put a circle around them and say everyone in this circle are the right ones and the true ones, and everyone knows everything. Anyone outside of it is other. Our faith says, put a circle around the whole world. We put a circle around the whole world and we say there is no other. We are who we are. Every seed that we plant, I think, have you ever seen a tomato seed? How tiny they are? They're so tiny. They're like a period at the end of a sentence. And inside of that grows a 6-foot-tall plant that has all these tomatoes all over it. And how about the acorns? And inside of it that has an oak tree. Everything inside of it has this power and this potential. And we are seeds. We are seeds walking on the earth. Walking on the earth. Inside of us is potential. Inside of us is perfection. Inside of us is possibility to grow a world that we can live in and love in and feel good in. I don't know about you, but there's things go on in this world that really disturb me sometimes. I think of Ukraine and Russia and Syria and white racists and the war against women and on and on and on, and immigration and all the things that can really come in and disturb me at times. And I think, how can I have my joy in the midst of all the pain and suffering that's going on in the world? How do I keep my joy while all this is happening in the world? How do I become the seed that can change the world? What's inside of me that I can grow, that can change it and make it different, to help bring more love? I believe that collective consciousness is our superpower. And when we can really allow ourselves to unite with the collective consciousness, that's where we're going to change the world. I think of Mother Teresa. They asked her if she would go for participate in a march against war, and she said no, but I will participate in a march for peace. So how do we reframe everything? How do we not see other? How do I not see red and blue and all the things that cause me turmoil? Well, and can I have outrage and joy at the same time? Can I hold them both? And I realized that, yes, I can. And I can choose how I want to be and how I want to use that outrage. I can use it for good. I can use it to influence the collective consciousness in a positive way of love. You know, I read something on Facebook this week, and some of you might have seen it go by. It was about this minister who came to be a new church, and he was going to be the minister for this church. And it was his first day he was going to be there. And he showed up dressed as a homeless person and didn't tell any of the congregation. And he sat around on the steps of the church while the people were coming in. And someone came over and asked him to please move. And he kept getting moved around, like nobody wanted to see him. He said no one gave him eye contact, no one looked at him, no one did anything. So then he went into the church and he sat up in the front. And the ushers came in and they said, sorry, but we need to move you to the back of the church, please. So they moved him to the back of the church. And everybody stared at him, looked at him, because he was a homeless person. He was dressed like a homeless person. And when it was time, when the usher announced that the new minister was here and the new minister was going to speak, he came in, he walked up the aisle, and everybody was shamed. Everyone felt this, my gosh, I didn't, shame of how they treated this homeless person, how they were disturbed by this homeless person. And he proceeded to say that prayer of St. Francis. I was hungry, you gave me food. I was thirsty, you gave me water. And beautiful prayer. And I thought, how do I treat homeless people? How do I treat... there was a woman who spoke here one day. I can't remember her name. The woman with the lantern flies. Remember she talked about getting the lantern flies? Anyway, she said somebody came up to her and said, what's happening with the immigration? What's happening with all those kids that were taken away from their parents and put in those homes? And she thought, gee, I don't know. I forgot all about that. That was like how many crises ago, And I remember when that was happening. So she, what her message was that we can't all do everything. We've got to pick something. We've got to decide what is our seed inside of us. What is it that we're going to grow on the earth? What is our 6-foot pole, tall plant that's going to produce all this fruit? How are we going to flower and bloom and change this earth? What is our thing? On New Year's Eve, every year on New Year's, I choose a word for the year that's going to be my word. And sometimes I chose, some years it was intention, some was gratitude, love, all different words. I read something this year. It said, instead of choosing a word, how about you become the word? How about you be the word? And I thought, wow, I never thought of that. That's really cool. Be the word. So I was playing with words. I spent the whole day, New Year's Day, out burning wood in the back and thinking, what's my word? What can be my word that I want to live through, that I want to live my life through, that I want to, create the world from? And I thought of all different words, and finally I settled on the number one quality that the Buddha talks about, and that's compassion. And I think you remember one time I told you I read this line that said, as soon as I say I love you, everything unlike love's going to present. Well, as soon as I say compassion is the word I'm going to live, everything unlike compassion started presenting to me. I started seeing all the ways and all the places that I was not compassionate, all the ways that I saw others, all the ways that I would judge and criticize, and all the ways that I would get angry and feel frustrated, all the ways that I was not compassionate. And my teacher says, bring it on, show me everything that gets in the way of me being who I say I want to be. And so I reframed it into gratitude. Byron Katie says, turn it around, turn it around. You don't like me, I don't like me. Where am I? Where do I judge? Where do I look? Because I am the seed to be planted this spring, this equinox, this perfect balance time. And my seed wants to uplift others. My seed wants to live in joy and excitement, and my seed wants to change the world for the better, and my seed wants to add to the collective consciousness of positivity. And my seed wants to stand up for injustice and where I see things that aren't working for me. And I want to do that from a loving place, not from an angry, rageful place. I remember going to a protest in Smithville 2 years ago, I guess, and there were people on the other side who believed differently than me, and they were so angry, and they were spewing such hate and such rage and all of this, and it got in my stomach, and I could feel it, and I thought, this is not how I want to be in my life. Yes, I want to change the world to be a more compassionate, loving, blooming, exciting world, but I don't want to do it from hate and rage. I want to do it from love, and that takes work. I have to always be watering my plant. I have to always be looking at myself and seeing. I want to bloom. I want to be a beautiful flower that adds to this world. One of the songs that when I was at the Home and Truth Spiritual Center in California, we ended every service in a circle, holding hands, singing, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." And I love that song, and it's so true. You know, let it begin with me. Everything begins with me. And so I'm going to ask you and invite you, if you would please take a moment and do this little meditation with me. I want to ask you if you're willing to close your eyes, and if not, you can just find a place that you can stare and look out over into the beautiful trees outside, or maybe there's a bird flitting around out there. And I want you to imagine the earth and the power of the earth. And I want you to feel your feet on the ground, and you're going to ground yourself into the earth. And we're going to do something called heart math right now, where you put your hands on your heart and you breathe in love and you breathe out love. And feeling the positivity of the world and of this time and the power, the force of this time. And we're going to invite the goddess Ostara into our experience. See her walking toward you right now. See flowers popping out of the ground wherever she walks. See her little frisky rabbit running around her feet. See her holding a basket of Easter eggs, beautiful eggs. And I want you to reach in that basket and choose one of those eggs. Each one's a different color. Hold it in your hand, looking at the color and reflecting, what does this mean to you? What personal seed is planted inside of that egg for you? Ask for a message for collective global growth. What seed are you to grow this year? Place it into your heart and absorb it into your being. You are immersed in the newness potential, the possibility. You are immersed in that. Then ask yourself, what do I truly care about? What are the things that are truly sacred to me? Do I spend my life energies, my time, my attention, my money on what I care about most? Are my best life energies going to serve what is truly sacred to me? And if so, is there some support or help or renewal of energy I need? Is there somewhere I can ask for it? Or can I make time for it in my life? And if not, if my best life energies are not going to support what is truly sacred to me, what might I need to make a change? Do I need to change my job or rethink how I spend my money or my time? What could I simplify? Am I surrounded by clutter that clogs my mind? Am I working too hard for too many things that aren't what I really want or need? Oh, feel your egg inside your heart. And now you can say goodbye to Asara and open your eyes. I would invite you to do something symbolic to honor your life in the next few days. Perhaps light a candle or say a blessing for your life and the life force living within you. This perfection that's in you, this seed that's in there, already perfect and ready to burst forth in this beautiful time of spring equinox, the beautiful time of balance. Make a commitment to go within. Maybe be silent each day for a little bit of time so you can have some internal guidance. Let your inner voice know that it is, in fact, has an important role in your life, and you're going to be listening a lot more. Intend to be in joy. Plant the seed of intention. Be part of the collective healing. Spring clean, inner and outer. In Mama Gina, we used to do this experience where we called spring cleaning, where we would call a friend up and we would say, I have to spring clean. And the friend would say, okay, what's your theme? You know, what is it? And I might say, well, I'm not feeling really compassionate right now. And they'd say, tell me more about that. And you'd go, well, I'm not feeling compassionate right now. I feel like I'm judging, and I feel like I'm blah, blah, blah. And they'd go, thank you. What else do you hold on that? And all they would do is say thank you. They wouldn't try to fix it. They wouldn't try to cure it. They wouldn't try to heal it. They would just say thank you. Anyone that wants to do spring cleaning, give me a call. Tracy, too. Another sister goddess, Roberta. We're all available for spring cleaning. It really works. It's so cool. And it just cleans out all that stuff you're holding in there. Resentments, anger, frustration. Give to humanitarian causes. The UU Social Justice, the Eastern Service Workers, or something of your choice, somewhere where you're planting your seed, where you're helping to become part of the transformation. Seeds planted, roots grounded. As I experience joy, as I flower and I bloom and I give seeds of peace and possibility and permission, for I give people and other people permission to bloom. As I stand in the light and the blooming and the planting and the seeding, I give other people permission to see their potential and their wonderfulness inside of them. And I know the collective consciousness that I am part of is spreading joy. I know I am part of peace and love on this planet. Aho, blessed be. Thank you. And now for our closing words. I think that's what's next. Is that next? Oh, no. Closing hymn. Thank you.
Everyone can rise in body and spirit. The choir's going to sing the verse, and we're all going to sing the chorus on this. I need a team.
We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle.
You hear us cry, now hear us call you. Spirits of air and sky,
We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. Inside our hearts there glows a spark, love and desire, a burning fire. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending.
Within our blood, within our tears, there lies the altar of living water.
We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. The circle closes between the worlds to mark the sacred space where we come face to face. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending.
Okay. Closing words. How cool. We are a circle within a circle with no beginning and never ending. Nothing, the earth teaches us that as she goes round and round in her circle. May you find the balance you desire and need, light and dark, spirit and body, mind and soul. May you recognize the gradual, powerful rebirth happening within you. May you awaken to the potential and the blossoming of your own self. And like the wild geese, may you find your way home. Our worship is done. Once more we face the task. The world awaits the service we must give. Aho.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Gina. Please read with me the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we put in our hearts until we are together again.
I asked my choir to come and sing. They're going to be my woo-woo girls. Singing back up, woo-woo.
Test, test. lovely day. A lovely
When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, someone else instead of me always seems to know the way. Then I look at you and the world's all right with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be
a lovely day. A lovely
lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, a lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, a lovely day, lovely day, lovely day, lovely day. Here we go, girls.
A lovely A lovely
Thank you, Gina. And the what kind of girls were they?
And my woo-woo girls.
There are a few announcements this week. There will be a UU Faith Action meeting this coming Monday evening at 6:30 on Zoom. We have just enjoyed our first circle dinners since the COVID break. Now it's time to sign up for the second one, which will be Saturday, April 22nd. The sign-up sheets are in a table at the rear of the sanctuary, along with more information about these dinners. Essentially, they are a gathering of people from the congregation in which everyone is placed in a group of 8 and is assigned to bring one of the courses. There's more information on the table. This is a wonderful way to enjoy a night out and get to know others in the congregation in a small group format. We will hold our Blue Jean Sunday on April 4th. The wrong date? When is it? March 30th? March 30th. Okay. Richard says March 30th, so it's March 30th. We will hold our Blue Jean Sunday on March 30th, right after service. This work needed includes dusting, scrubbing, window work, yard work, and mulch spreading. A few folks who aren't afraid of heights are also needed to deal with some tall items. Contact Barbara Miller or Richard Schurig. Yes, Kit.
Marcia, how can we meet on Sunday, March the 30th?
Correction. April 30th. Okay. Blue Jean Sunday will be held on April 30th after service. Okay, and everything I already said applies except for the date. Okay. There will be no coffee hour that day, but lunch will be provided for the volunteers. Next Sunday, we will have our second collection for the Eastern Service Workers Association. So please be generous to this worthy organization. Join us next Sunday to hear Michael Clough. He says, last time we discussed how failure is always an option and how accepting our mistakes allows us to be fully human. This time, we will explore the importance of vulnerability and how defensiveness prevents us from growing. Michael has worn many hats in this congregation, including serving on the sound crew, playing the guitar, teaching RE, and more. He's also president of the South Jersey Humanists. We warmly welcome all of you who are visiting us today. Parents are encouraged to stay for the final moments of worship and to retrieve their children from downstairs after the bell has sounded. Also, after the bell has sounded, we will have a special song for everyone here in the sanctuary.
So don't run away.
Don't run away.
And everyone's going to sing along. The lyrics will be up there.
Okay. Now let us share in a moment of silent reflection to consider Teresa's message from today and the meaning it has on our lives.